Hey guys, Geno here. Once again, here to talk about things I like talking about. And today, I just had a long walk with my father, and we were discussing a lot of things, but one of the things that really stuck in my mind was something that I had talked about previously that I feel like a lot of people come to talk to me about or seek advice on. Uh, it's the fact that young people are working these days to own nothing. You spend your time working, earning a W-2, taking the money home in the hopes that one day you'll have enough to live the type of life that you want. But the key thing here is that we're struggling with, that our great-grandparents and so forth didn't necessarily struggle with, they definitely didn't, is the inflation to the degree that it is at. The problem with inflation is the money that you earn is worth so much less in the future, and the things that go up in price, the assets, right, suddenly become more and more out of reach. The 5-bedroom home in Chicago that used to cost $75,000 in 1995 is probably over $1 million today, right? And while some of that's just inflation money going up, I can promise you that the average worker in Chicago from 1995 did not have their income go up, a factor of, what is that, 12x, 13x? Doesn't happen. So we run into the dilemma that we have here, which is it feels like everything's a runaway train going away from us. And it's so disheartening. It's so tough. I graduated with an engineering degree in 2019 with the world as my oyster, and man, did I get lucky, right? Because 1 year later was COVID. I don't envy the people that graduated then. I really do feel sorry for you. That was a rough go of it. So I found good engineering work, but good engineering work was paying $75K a year, before taxes on everything in California. So realistically, you were barely taking home 55, 52, which is fine for a young guy that's not married, right? Which I was at the time. I'm still not married, but I remember my coworker, he was earning 78 at the time, and the poor guy had, not poor guy, the blessed guy had a wife and I think 4 kids, right? And the guy was just telling me how tough it was out there to make it all stretch and be able to work. And here he was worrying about money in a way that nobody of the previous generations in America, at least, had to worry about before. And he was so frustrated, felt so disheartened. I wish somebody had come to me earlier and told me that the way forward was assets. You have to own assets. Things that are useful, utilitarian, and grow in value. Because right now, everybody works to own nothing. And in 40 years, what are you left with? Nothing. Wow. Who could have guessed that, right? But if you don't sit down and think about it, you're not actually going to tackle these things. And you got to take the first steps. So thankfully, I, early on, after talking with my friend, realized something's wrong here. Not only do I not want to work 40 years, right, in a cubicle farm, we called it, a cube farm, staring at gray walls all day and getting people, to yell at me about different stuff and talk down to me, and only to get paid a mediocre salary at best and have most of that taken by the government, right? Only to come home and overspend on real estate and at the end of the day have maybe a tiny bit of, going out money, beer money, take my significant other out for a dinner money. That wasn't in my life's plan, right? I've always thought, and I've had this saying since high school, that life is too short to live a boring one. And I do believe that. In order to not live a boring life, or not live a quote-unquote normal life, you must do abnormal things. That also sounds crazy to a lot of people, right? But you know what a lot of people don't own? Assets. You know what wealthy people own? Assets, equity, ownership, stocks, bonds, real estate. Less so bonds these days. Stocks, real estate, cryptocurrency, businesses, equity in businesses, cash flows. You have to have something that goes up with it all, because otherwise when the Fed prints the money and the money starts sloshing around the system, the assets end up with all of it. The workers end up with none of it. You guys remember what happened in COVID when they printed that money? Everybody got a stimulus check. Whoa, we all have so much money. People bought adult substances, people bought, designer bags, people bought groceries, people bought a trip, people bought. You know how many people bought assets? I would be shocked if it was like less than 0.5%. Or sorry, more than 0.5%. I'd be absolutely shocked. Nobody buys assets. Except for me. And a growing number of people. Because it's the only way out of working to own nothing. It's the only way. And it sounds ugly and it sounds weird, but it really is the only way. Whether it's dollar cost averaging into stuff and just slowly rolling your way in. Because guess what? If you own nothing right now and you put $10 into a stock, you know how much money you have? You have $10. But even something better, you have the potential for growth in the future. 10 years from now, that $10 isn't going to be worth $10, assuming you bought something that's, a good company or an index fund or something that sticks around the 10 years. But you're going to have something even better. Even better. It's going to be worth more. See how that happens? Something that in time is worth more. Because if you just shove that $10 in the bank, which is what a lot of us do, me included previously, in 10 years that $10 is probably going to be worth $3, maybe. Does everybody remember what homes cost in 2014, 2015? It's only been 10 years, guys. You remember what those used to go for? I do. I almost bought a home in 2020. Almost. What kept me? Well, I changed cities, so I do have something of an excuse, but it's an excuse nonetheless. If I had bought the asset, my returns would have been killer. And I'm doing other things now. Here I am sitting in my business. We're doing some work. We're getting everything set up to start operation. But, you have to own assets, guys. You can't keep working to own nothing. Please. I've seen the guys that are 40, right, and been working their asses off this whole time. It doesn't matter how hard you work. That's the really rude lesson of it all. It doesn't matter how hard you work. It matters what you do with the money you earned and how smart you are with that money. Please let it work for you. Please invest in assets. Please buy things that matter. Don't spend it all. At the very least, wake up, spend some money on some books, get some education on the matter. Because nobody teaches you this, and it's on purpose, unfortunately. Because the more there are of us out there that don't know anything, the better it is for the people out there that do know what's going on. It's the sad reality of it all. So I'm really hoping you guys can get a better grip on it and be on the better side of this, okay? Don't work to own nothing. Please. I'll share more lessons that I've learned, but it's a good start, okay? See you guys.